This is Zara Recaps. Today, Zara Recaps is going to explain third part of an action, mystery, and sci-fi movie called The Maze Runner. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Miho assumes that the passage is where the Grievers go in the day, but Gally stresses that they could end up facing dozens of Grievers inside. Thomas and Gally argue until Teresa announces that Albie is awake. They check on Albie, and Thomas encourages him that they can finally get out, but Albie claims that they won't let them. He remembers everything and tells Thomas that he was always their favorite. A commotion outside gets everyone's attention. The doors to the maze aren't closing, and instead, more doors are opening around the Glade. Grievers emerge, so everyone runs for cover. Thomas and a few others hide in the field, but one gets taken by a Griever. Thomas leads everyone into the village, while Gally takes a few people inside the box. The Grievers kill many of the Gladers and destroy their camp. When one blocks their way, Teresa throws a lantern, burning the creature. Still, the Griever pursues them. Albie collapses, so Thomas stands between him and a Griever. Suddenly, Newt and a few others throw spears at the monster and guide the group into the council hall. The Gladers keep quiet as the Griever climbs over the structure. The Griever destroys the roof and takes one of them. Chuck gets taken, but Thomas and Miho grab him. Albie hacks at the Griever until its arm breaks and pulls away. However, Albie is caught by another Griever. Thomas grabs him, and Albie tells him to get the rest out before he's taken. Suddenly, the Grievers disappear. Gally arrives and punches Thomas, accusing him of causing everything. Gally reminds everyone that Albie said Thomas is one of the people who sent them there. Convinced that Gally's right, Thomas grabs the stinger that Albie cut off from the Griever and stabs himself. He soon loses consciousness. Thomas dreams about a facility and sees that many of them were there when they were younger. He saw the Gladers inside tanks while being monitored by the scientist. When he wakes up, he and Teresa are inside the pit. Newt explains that Gally has taken over and insists that anyone who doesn't join him will be banished into the maze with Thomas. Thomas reveals that he remembers that the Glade is a test that began when they were kids. They were experimented on until they started disappearing one at a time. Thomas confesses that he and Teresa worked for the people that put them there. Although, he's uncertain why he and Teresa were sent there. Newt encourages him that what's important is what they could do now. He urges Thomas to finish what he started so Albie wouldn't have died for nothing. Later, Thomas and Teresa are taken to the door. A few are still hesitant about banishing them, wondering if Thomas could help them escape. However, Gally insists that they don't need to risk their lives to leave. Gally then reveals that he doesn't intend to banish Thomas and Teresa. Instead, he's offering them to the Grievers. Teresa is tied to a pole, but when the others hoist Thomas up, he attacks them. Miho, Newt, and Chuck join them in holding off Gally. Thomas offers the others to join them, stressing that he'd rather risk his life than be a prisoner in the Glade. Some Gladers are convinced, and Thomas offers Gally to join them, but he merely tells them good luck. The group head inside the maze, and Thomas leads them to the tunnel at Section 7. The group fights off a Griever with spears, but one gets tossed over. Teresa slashes at the Griever, accidentally causing Chuck to drop the device. Chuck leaps over and grabs it, but finds another Griever climbing up. The others throw the Griever off the bridge, but two more emerge. Chuck and Teresa open the tunnel while the others fight the Grievers. At the end of the tunnel, Teresa activates a security code and asks Thomas for the code. Thomas asks Miho for the sequence in which the maze sections open up. Suddenly, a Griever drops on Miho, so another Glader stabs the monsters in the face. The Griever bites the Glader and drags him away. Miho shouts the sequence, so Teresa uses the code to open the door. Suddenly, the walls to the path close, crushing the Grievers inside. A door opens inside the tunnel, and the survivors enter. They head inside another room and find the scientists dead. They reach the surveillance room and see monitors that show the Glade. Thomas activates a video clip where Dr. Ava Page introduces herself as the Director of Operations for the World Catastrophe Kill Zone Department. She congratulates the viewer for completing the maze trials. She recounts that the sun has scorched the earth, killing billions to fire and famine. Soon, a deadly virus known as the flare turned the survivors rabid. However, a new generation seemed to be immune to the virus. Scientists placed young men in the Glade to study their brain activity under rigorous conditions in order to formulate a cure. Ava emphasizes that not everyone agreed with the experiment. Soldiers begin to invade behind her as she assures them that her experiments were for the common good. After the video, Thomas finds her body in another room behind them. Another door opens, but everyone hesitates. Suddenly Gally appears, but he's been stung. Gally points a gun at Thomas and claims they belong to the maze. He pulls the trigger and Chuck pushes Thomas away as Mijo throws a spear at Gally. Dies, but Chuck is shot. Chuck returns the toy to Thomas, thanking him for giving him a chance. Chuck soon passes away and Thomas cries. Armed people invade and take them. Outside, Thomas finds himself in the desert and is thrown into a helicopter with the others. The people assure them they're safe as the helicopter flies over the maze. With them out, Ava holds a meeting with the W.C.K.D people. She wipes fake blood off her forehead and announces that the maze trial was successful. The group can now proceed to phase 2. Thanks you for watching, likes the video, and press the bell icon to watch more videos.